Hello and welcome to episode 17 of Let's Talk Tactics. I'm your host, Zach Burrell.
And I'm Locke.
And this week we are going to do a deep dive into CM4 because it's probably one of the most interesting ones to talk about. Surprisingly, it's not just as simple as I don't have Frederica and Niv'Lu and I lose. It's a little more complicated than that. And it's kind of awesome at the same time and frustrating all wrapped in one bundle. So,
I totally agree that this is the most interesting CM in my opinion that we've had so far.
yeah,
And I'm like having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, I guess from last week we missed just due to various reasons. Or 2 weeks ago was it? No, we missed last week.
You missed last week, yeah.
Yeah. Because I was gonna be traveling, and then all of my plans got canceled, but they didn't get canceled until the day following, when we would have been recording and all this. So I didn't want to record late and get off schedule and yeah, the whole thing. But I was supposed to be in a TCG tournament, completely
Oh, nice.
multiple flights canceled.
Which game?
Final Fantasy trading card game.
Oh, okay.
So I was on the plane to go, and my connection got canceled.
Interesting.
And this was after my original flight had already gotten pushed like 5 hours. But I couldn't get another flight to get to my destination before the event started. So I just got a full refund and
I see.
stayed where I am. Which I mean, I know during COVID times, it's probably some sort of hidden blessing in there, but at the same time it's like I don't know, the plane was pretty empty and people were spaced out. I wasn't too worried about it, but definitely an interesting airport experience. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get back to this. All we really missed last week was talking about Leviathan and the Bale Burgeonet, both just good Pierce resist stuff. Any particular
Disable
thoughts about
resist.
Leviathan?
I think that's awesome.
Yeah, and disables just exactly. I think I was against an Agris, and someone in my chat was saying like disable her, and I'm like, oh, maybe I could check that. I looked at it, I'm like 0%. I was like, oh yeah, she probably has the helmet on.
Exactly. Yeah, that's like permanently been on my domain since I got it. So now he has confuse resist, disable resist, and stop resist.
Yeah,
so anti-Agrius. So perfect.
Super good. Oh yeah. Yeah, so I don't think there's a whole lot to talk about with those. I mean, just it's good to have the relevant resist types rounded out because we don't really need strike resist yet, unless you find that rogue monk Cecil player or something. But I don't think you really have to worry about that too often. So, yeah, really cool to have, and people like Whisper and Thancred are happy. But
exactly.
Yeah. So CM4, I know you put out 2 videos already. Sort of talk about your couple.
3 now, actually.
Oh, is it 3? Sorry,
I just did one today.
I missed one of them. Okay. And it's funny, we ended up on the exact same 3 units without even discussing anything with each other. So I know you have your videos, and I'll link them down below for sure, or I'll just link your channel, and then everyone can just click on the videos from that. Just quick summary of how you ended up on the team for the podcast.
So I was not planning to play gunners at all. I was actually planning to play anti-gunners. I was like looking at like Victoria and everything. But then when gunners rolled out, Luartha came and I happened to get her very easily. And then and then Niv'Lu came out. I didn't get her easily, but I wanted to go until 1 pity and see if I got her. I got her, and I was like very happy with her. So I was like, damn it, I kind of want to play gunners now. So I ended up going back to gunners just to take a look. I try to figure things out. I was planning on playing Luartha, Niv'Lu, and someone else, the third person, a non-gunner. But the problem was I actually had not. I got Luartha very late, so she's still only LB4.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well maybe I will just play her with Frederica. Doing some testing with that, and I was like, wow, this is kind of fun to play. I mean, it's a totally different way to play gunners. Like I've been playing Frederica and Lucia for a while. This is different. This is great.
Well, you don't have a sharpshoot as Luartha, so you can't just take that reliance on having that range and height differences and everything, and the sure hit. So I can imagine it's very different.
Yeah, exactly. With Lucia, like yes. Like I'm looking at single trigger damage basically with Lucia, and I want her to kill stuff. With Niv'Lu, it's like totally different, right? Like I'm actually like looking at taking off barriers, taking off buffs, hasting people. Like she's like a support, but she also does a lot of damage too.
Wait, have you been talking about Niv'Lu this whole time?
Yes. So I said
I thought you said something about Luartha being. Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry.
I did an LB4 Luartha, so I ended up getting Niv'Lu.
Right.
So,
okay.
And then So I wanted to do Niv'Lu plus Lortha, but I ended up doing Niv'Lu plus Frederica.
Gotcha.
And I was saying that Niv'Lu plays a lot different from Lucia.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's what I was saying. So then I was like, yeah, and because before, like when I started playing this, I was doing Frederica plus Lucia for a long time. I didn't want to play that team again. That's why I was initially hesitant to play Gunners, because I was like, I don't want to do that again. But this is like this is different and it's a lot of fun. So how I ended up on my team was, I started with those two, and I'm like, who's the complement to this team?
Same.
And I was like, I think Dwayne would go. Oh, like first of all, I was like, I want somebody that I'm sure a lot of people are gonna have very high missile resist. So I want someone that by himself can do a lot of damage, because they're not gonna have a lot of slash damage, right? Or they're not gonna have pierce, and he does both types.
Yeah.
So that's why I ended up on Dwayne, and I like him because he also has like all those resists. So he's also good against Agrius, which I'm assuming I would see a lot. So that's how I ended up on that team.
Yeah,
How are
I
you?
had very similar sort of thought process where I had gotten Niv'Lu after my existential meltdown, thinking about her and missing out on her and not having her as like a tool in my toolbox and blah blah blah. Max her out. It's funny because I actually was willing to take a unit and just kind of like coast. Like I stopped buying her shards, and I was like, all
Mhm.
right, for the month, like this will max me out, and I'll have this many hard quests, and like it was all planned. And then they're like, CM coming this week. I was like, crap.
Well then.
so, so a couple hours later, I had her max, and I just started buying shards again off whimsies and stuff, and wrapped her up. I think I got like 45 shards in one day, just like going for it. And then because we couldn't actually play much on Tuesday because of the long maintenance, I was exactly 6 shards away. So Wednesday morning, I just skipped all of her hard quests and did the 2 resets, unlocked her, and then because of the XP up in story, I went from 89 to 99 in like just under 2 hours.
Mm.
It was insane.
Yeah.
Just doing like good idea or whatever. That was great. Uh, um, but yeah, so maxed her out. I had been playing around with Niv'Lu at 89, but she definitely felt a little lackluster then. She feels a lot better at 99. Just the little bit of like stat difference does make a
Okay.
difference when you're talking about
Mm.
optimizing in like a CM environment. But yeah, no, I really appreciated that she has the haste for this.
Mhm.
Obviously, we can't do quicken, and she can also chain with Frederica. My only problem was figuring out how I was going to deal with evade reliably, because Frederica sharpshoot's great,
Yep.
but you only have Frederica with sharpshoot if you're using Niv'Lu and Frederica as your two like missile options. So there's no like sharpshoot off of like Lucia into Frederica or something, or like
Mhm.
Rosa Frederica I've done before. So yeah, I was concerned with that, but I was like, I'll just put an Alex Ray on Frederica, make her reliable, give her haste, stand still as much as possible, and then I need someone to run interference. So I started looking at units with movement 4 or higher,
Okay.
and preferably with jump 2. So I was looking at
Mhm.
Kane as an option, who doesn't have move 4, but I could use his TMR if I really had to. Didn't want to do that though. But being able to hop over everything, I was like, maybe it's okay.
Mhm.
And then I looked at Victra, of course, with her, Thief Lore helping her move around a lot, and she has the LB, which is cool. But, and this is funny because this actually factored into the decision to play Dwayne versus like anybody else more than anything, is that I leveled Victra's jump
Yes,
uh
that makes a lot of
back a
sense.
while
That.
ago, and I'm like, and like you said, Dwayne can just kill people by himself
Yeah.
if they're not built to resist him. So I thought about her. I'm like, oh wait, Dwayne, I still have it jump level 1 because I'm
Mhm.
keeping him there. He's never leveling it,
Yep.
so I can do
Same.
those tricks, which I'm sure we're going to talk about,
Mhm.
and I can also move 4. And I can make it myself missile resist if I really have to, but really I'm just going to stack defense. And if they have defense pen, they got it. But I want to be a little more balanced because I need to beat teams that aren't missile also. And then I can just drag in standard turn 1 and get move 5 and jump 2. So that's the plan. So turn 1,
Yeah.
I always haste. I start casting haste on Dwayne with Niv'Lu, then he immediately takes a turn. Dragon
Okay.
standard moves over onto one of the 2 crystals based on how they move, and then that's like my opener. And It's been going pretty well. I went 3-2 day one. My two losses were games 4 and 5 to the exact same team, which was different people, exact same team, which
Okay.
was Victora, Venera, and Kilfe, built for heavy missile resist. The
Hmm.
first one, their Venera had 80% missile resist, and the second one they had
Yikes.
55%. And in both cases, their Victoras had 50, 55 or higher, and then Kilfe had like really high armor values and also like 30 to 55 missile resist. It was rough.
I
The
can imagine. Yeah.
first one, my opponent almost misplayed into giving me a chance to win, but it didn't work out. It was a lot closer than it should have been. They didn't run at me like they should have. Like the
Mm.
second player just ran at my face. I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm dead. but
Okay.
but the game one, he was kind of staying back, and I got a disable off on Victora. I got Dwayne on up the side, right next to like Kilfe and Venera, and I was kind of body blocking for my two gunners to try to chip away at them. But then
Mhm.
I missed. I was doing all these calculations for not getting Victoria charmed after the disable ran off,
Mhm.
and she lapped me, and I stood in the wrong spot. So I
Mm.
ended up getting charmed, and then Dwayne turned around and killed Frederica. And then
Yep.
actually, I think she reflexed the first one and died to the second thing. But
Okay.
yeah, it was rough. But anyway, I guess the total reasoning for Dwayne is the same as you. I wanted somebody to run interference. I needed somebody that could kill people outside of missile damage. And having the two damage types is great. And yeah, but not a whole lot else to say except for maybe some very very niche things like the jump level one. But
Mhm. Yeah, and it seems like my build is similar to yours too. Like I'm stacking defense on him as well. I took the defense passive instead of the missile passive, because
yeah,
I guess I mean it just makes sense because he already has a high defense value. So additional, like, unless I'm stacking missile resist with other VCs and stuff, it doesn't really make sense to increase just the missile resist, because
Mhm.
15% defense is the same as 15 missile resist, unless it's like Lucia or something who penetrates defense, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I
Which
figured
is a
that
concern
it's actually
because
this.
defense penetration is more common than say missile resist penetration, which I don't think exists right now.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, people have to activate those buffs or have those buffs on, which
Exactly.
sure they can do it, but like at the same time, yeah, tune up is great. If tune up's on, they just have it as part of their
Mhm.
kit, but they still have to put the buff on if they don't, or if they want to have additional, and that gives you an extra turn of move 5, threat range 4 to just hit them.
Yep.
So
Exactly.
yeah, it's kind of it's a trade off.
Yeah, and and same with like Niv'Lu. I've seen a lot of Niv'Lus. I've only seen her use target once,
Okay,
because target gives you the additional defense penetration. Otherwise, she only
and
has like
range
20, I
one,
think.
yeah. The range
And
one
range, yeah.
actually that became very relevant in one match because I didn't have time with Frederica to do like the missile buff for both of them,
Okay.
which I typically don't actually. And then so target was kind of my highest AP move that wasn't a cast time, which I think is her only one after her TMR. And
Mhm.
I'm like, I just need to do this and like move and hope or not move and hopefully get another turn and rip them apart. But the range plus one helped a lot. Now, actually, here's another prep thing. What passives are you running on Niv'Lu?
So until now, I was running both ranged passives.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I switched to using her luck and plus 15 missile passive, plus the plus 2 range passive.
Now, what brought you to that conclusion? Because that's actually the
So
opposite for me. I started with the luck and missile one, and I thought I'm like I probably need the range 3.
okay. So for me, like I was doing great. All my games, yeah. So until last night, my games were pretty good. I would only lost one where like I couldn't do anything, and it was actually again Victor as well, like, with charmed my Dwayne. I should have actually died, but I didn't because Federica reflexed. But I mean,
As
the
she
match is
does.
really the match is already kind of like lost at that point anyway. I lost a second match the first day, but that was because I just did like so many misplays. It was my fault. I left my both my Niv'Lu and my Frederica in range of my enemies to hit them because for some reason I was paying attention or something. Anyway, but until that point, I'm like, you know what? Like this is working really well for me, especially the long range plus 3 on both of them. It's doing really both of them being Frederica and Lucia. Sorry, Frederica and Niv'Lu. But I was thinking kind of outside the box. I was like, I'm pretty comfortable here. what if I switch this into making them have more options for evade team? Because I've been asking around people as well. Like I've only played until yesterday. I only played 3 other matches against Rangers. I played one evade team, but all the others were like anti-missile options, right?
Right.
And I was like, okay, but a lot of people, like one guy said, I played against 5 high evade teams. I was like, whoa, and I'm glad that's not me because I would have lost all of them, right?
Yeah.
So when I started playing, I was using Horncastle VC on Niv'Lu, which gives you plus 30% attack on the bestowed, and it gives you minus 10% luck on the bestowed as well, and +4/resist, which is not much. But
Okay.
she had very high attack. I think she had close to like 800, and I think she had 806 attack. She also gets 35% attack from Dwayne's VC as well. And then she gets Frederica's Dreams plus 35 missile attack. So she did a lot of damage. She could one-shot enemy Niv'Lu's, enemy Frederica's with her LB very easily. So I was
Okay.
doing well. But my problem was, I think one of my games on day one, I played against a Venera, and that Venera was stacked for evade, and only my only my Frederica could hit her with sharpshoot, and she needed to hit her 3 times to kill her. I ended up not killing her. I ended up just running away. I
Yeah,
killed
that's
both
it
the
happened to me
others.
too. The same. It's terrifying, and
Yeah,
some people are saying, "Oh, Venera's never felt good." I'm like, dude, just shove some extra missile resist on her and keep her like evading. Like you're fine. Like,
yeah,
she's
exactly.
so annoying.
It was very difficult to take her down. She killed my Frederica at, she got off 2 sharpshooters, but then she died, and then I just couldn't hit her. I had 2% chance to hit her with Niblu. So I was
Ooh,
like, what am I supposed to do with this?
rough.
But I was like, oh, I hasted them and ran away, and then she couldn't do anything. She couldn't reach. So I was just thinking ahead. I was like, I think a lot of people are going to start switching to evade because I'm seeing a lot of bruisers. Evade is great against bruisers, so I think that's going to start becoming a lot more commonplace. So I was like, okay, what can I do? So I ended up using the float IVC, the freaking eyeball, the blue eyeball.
Freaking blue eyeball. Yes.
Yeah, that one. So he gives 15 accuracy bestowed,
Yeah.
and then he gives 15% dexterity to everyone in the party.
Yes, he
Uh,
does.
so that and dexterity also increases the damage output from gunners, so it actually does increase her damage. She's probably not going to hit as hard as she did with the Horncastle, but I think her damage and especially her crit rate goes up too. So I think
Hmm.
it's maybe comparable, and she has like pretty good accuracy today. I was up against an evade team, and he had both Kiza and Venera, and they both had the shadow cast buff.
Yep.
The only thing was his Secrets of Ketone was not Secrets of Ketone. You know what I mean? The Secrets
Yeah,
of
yeah.
Heart
Secrets of
Order,
the Secrets
whatever.
of Heart. Yeah. Yeah.
It was not maxed, so it had 21% luck instead of 35% luck. But I had pretty good aim. I had 75% chance to hit Kiza from the front, and I had
Okay.
62% chance to hit Venera,
Do you
and
know
that was with
Ziza's
their.
actually not that evasive?
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, she doesn't
Like
have
I
anything else besides that 42%.
yeah. So I
But
looked at
that's pretty good though.
I looked at the Meow's like stat sheets or whatever.
Mhm.
Let me find this real quick. So you know how there's like the rankings for evasion for like assuming you have these buffs, that buff based on passives and like the cards and everything.
Yeah.
Before cards for evasion, Ziza's number 30.
Right.
Examples of units above her are like, I mean, Kane's more evasive, including the like agility, evade, whatever else passives they have.
Mhm.
It's I didn't realize it was that awful. Agrius is more evasive than Ziza, just chilling
Mhm.
at like pace things. It's kind of crazy because like
Yeah.
I remember in the early days and even now, like we look at the season, we're like, oh, that's like one of the evasive unit options. It's like
Mhm.
she's actually not. Obviously, she has the buff, so that helps.
Yeah.
And it makes her more of like a natural choice, but you have to have that buff on for her to be better than a lot of other units who do a
Mhm.
lot more damage than she does. So I found that very interesting. Sorry.
Yeah, and but yeah, with that buff, it becomes like pretty difficult to hit her.
Hmm.
And like if I like, and I missed that 7.5% chance as well. um, Yesterday I was practicing with somebody else, and I missed a 96% chance to hit her. I was like, what the heck? I mean, it
Dude, I
happens,
I
right?
missed a 93% and a 97%, and then back to back hit a 41 and a 38 for like crowd control. I'm
Yeah,
like, whatever. Like this
that just
the
happens.
percentages are just constructs that don't exist, I guess.
Um, yeah. But anyway, that's the reason I went back to using those passives, because I was like, I think I'm pretty okay with learning how to fight against other uh, gunners. So I don't need that +1 range. I think I'll just get used to not having that range and figuring how to hit harder with the missile attack passive. But because of the luck passive and now the Prodijee VC, and she also has Alexandrite ring, and what else does she have? Kiza's TMR.
So you're using bells on Niv'Lu.
Yes, I'm assuming you're using it on
Okay.
Federica.
I am.
Okay, so we'll talk about that.
Yes, we will.
Okay.
So also, by the way, I know we're talking a lot about playing as gunners, but hearing us talk about our experiences from two different perspectives about gunners will help fight against gunners, because I know there is some frustration going around with people and dealing with Niv'Lu and Frederica, and sometimes a third one, whether it be Luartha or Rosa or Lucia, whoever. So try to extrapolate that as you listen to us just ramble about our experiences as well. Like, the thinking about the decisions we're making kind of can give you insight into how to attack them as well, like what we are building against because we're weak to. Like, that's, do that. So,
Yeah.
like, especially play missile resist Venera with a couple bruisery units with her, and you'll be all right.
Yeah. So one of the reasons I actually ended up changing my comp was yesterday I made a video saying this is my weakness, evade. So I'm like, well, maybe I should kind of do something about
Yeah,
it.
do something about it. Yeah.
So
Wait, so what other cards are you using?
So I'm using Dwayne's VC on Dwayne.
Yeah.
I'm using Federica's Dream on Federica, and then now I'm using Flodai.
How'd you get the points for that?
Oh, so I'm using Bomb Esper on Federica.
Oh, okay. That's okay. Because I am using for my third card, I have Frederica's Dream, Dwayne's VC, 3 UR Espers, and then I'm using the N rarity card that gives what is it? I think the party ability is like percent HP to party or something.
Okay.
And it gives a flat attack to bestowed. Wait, where is it? Or is it an N? If it's N rarity or R rarity, I'll be very happy. It should be one of these. So I'm trying to open it up on War of the Vicious Calc. Okay, yeah, this one. So yeah, it gives like 100 HP, 56 attack with 30 attack bestowed, and then 8% HP to the party. I'm like, I guess I have to use this because the other ones are, are kind of overlapped. So I may try to switch that up. And actually, looking at this now, putting the 30 luck on whoever equips might actually be better. But I'll lose the party ability. But yeah, no, I could not figure out how to get Dwayne's VC and Frederica's Dream to work because I don't have a lot of like MR or less Espers worked on the gunner duo, or well, the missile duo, just because I don't have like the wind chocobo leveled up.
Oh yeah.
And so how do you justify the choice of bomb besides obviously it has Maneater? But...
Well, I didn't get Tetra for a long time. I didn't get Odin for a long time. So I was using Behemoth and Bomb for a very long time. As Federica and Lucia, and I kind of got used to it. And I like Bomb because so I guess we'll talk about our choices of why we have Niv'Lu as why I have Niv'Lu as my
your bells.
Exactly, my bells, and you have Federica. So because I have Niv'Lu as that, I like the main thing I need Federica to do turn 1 is to give her that aim buff. That's all I need her to do. She can die after that. I don't need her, to be honest.
Really?
Yes. Unless I'm fighting evade. Right?
Okay.
If I'm fighting evade, then yes, I need her because I need that
missile buff vigilance. Missile buff vigilance. Please give me enough to barrage.
Yeah. She only needs 2 actually. She needs so I have Lucia's TMR on her. So turn 1, turn 1 she uses aim buff. Turn 2 she uses the TMR buff, and then she has I think 54 AP. So that's enough for a barrage.
Okay.
And so the reason I built my team this way is because if I have it on Federica, so turn 1 she has to use Revitalize, right? And then turn 2 she will have to use, well, she doesn't have to, but it would be a great idea to use aim buff, the aim buff, because that gives you plus 38% missile attack, which is like another Federica's Dream almost. And not having that,
it's more than that, yeah.
Yes. Federica's Dream will give her 45 because of the plus 10 lightning as well.
The lightning is yeah, true. Yeah.
But basically that's another VC, right? So like I know before Niv'Lu was released, a lot of people used Frederica plus Lucia, and Frederica would revitalize turn one. Lucia would give her the plus 40 missile attack.
Yeah.
So that kind of works. So I started like before when I was practicing, I had bells on Frederica, but then I was really ready for my team to attack on turn three because I need Frederica to use revitalize. I need Frederica to use aim buff. So this way, Niv'Lu starts off and she uses revitalize turn one, and turn one Frederica uses aim buff, and I'm good to go. Right. So on turn two, I'm already like if anyone's coming to attack me, I'm ready to attack. I can
Okay.
at least do two sharpshoots, right? So that's why I built my team this way, and because I built it that way, Frederica doesn't need to be as speedy. Like she does pretty good damage because she has man eater. She has the attack nodes from bomb. I think it has like 20% attack from the nodes.
Yeah, I think so. Let's see, 6, 11, 15. Yep, 20.
20, and also like 15% man eater or 20% man eater. One of the
15, yeah.
15, yeah. So I like that's pretty good.
There's a lot of damage, yeah. It's just the speed I was concerned with, because sometimes I feel like the strength of my gunners is being able to stand still and take multiple turns. Whereas with bomb, it's gonna be a little harder since you only have 11 agility instead of like say 17 or 19 or something. That those couple points can matter for sure.
And I'm not using her like the agility passive either. So she only has like 83 agility. So it's pretty slow comparatively. Like I'm used to her being at like 100.
Yeah, exactly.
So but I'm used to this. I'm okay with it. I usually when a match starts, Niv'Lu has around 100. I think she has like 93 without any affinity bonuses. And so usually she would go first, or she'll go second, like from the 6 players.
Wait, so what's her Esper?
Her Esper is Tetra.
Tetra, okay.
Mm-hmm. So she will go first or second from the 6 units that both players have, and then Frederica will usually go as like the 5th unit, or the 4th or 5th, and then Dwayne goes like last. So
okay.
Frederica is not speed. I just need her to give that aimed fire buff. That's her main objective.
Interesting.
And also like helps with evade.
I felt I tried using. I think there was one match I had. No, actually, I don't even know if I ever had the balls to try it. Maybe I didn't. I thought about it. I want Niv'Lu to have bells because she has so many more tricks and things to do, whether it be barrier breaks or like slow arrow, whatever else. And it takes 1 to 2 TP abilities sometimes to actually get enough AP to use another one, because a couple of them are really expensive. And I've never used her LP ever. So I definitely would like to be able to. And the fact that she has jump 2 natively without having to use a passive or something is also very huge on this map. So wait, when do you apply haste to Dwayne, or do you not?
So I have 2 variations now. When I started, the first 2 days, so turn 1, Niv'Lu would use revitalize, Frederica would use aim fire, Dwayne would use standard dragoon standard and go to one of the crystals, and that's kind of far away.
Yeah.
So she can't actually haste him anymore, and that's okay. And that kind of setup worked out very well. And then I made videos, so people started adapting. So that worked very well when I was fighting, especially gunners, and because they're on that ledge and they don't. If Frederica doesn't take the ninja passive, she's kind of stuck there, right? She can only move left or right. So, but people started watching these videos, and most of the Federicas I met today have that passive. So I had to think of a different strategy. So what I do now is turn 1, Niv'Lu uses. Actually, it's on the 3rd video I posted today. So if anyone wants to get a better idea of what I'm talking about,
link
it actually goes
below.
through the whole strategy. But basically, yeah. So turn 1, Niv'Lu uses revitalize. Frederica uses aim fire. Dwayne uses dragoon standard and moves all the way to the left, like as much as he can, almost. And actually, like the whole team.
Wait. So to left does matter from you're talking about up view.
Yes. So my team is down here.
Okay, so left will be the same no matter who you are from the top view. So you move actually towards like the deep trough edge of the map, not the open half with the closed half.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. The closed half. So actually my whole team moves to the closed half.
Okay.
And this is like when I'm fighting other gunners. So by doing this, the gunners will not move to the right. I don't want them to escape. I want them to stand there, right? I either want them to stand there, or I want them to come closer, because like if the match ends right now, we draw. So they're not gonna like move away. They'll either stand there or they'll come closer to try to get a barrage off. So turn 1, they also buff for standstill or whatever, it doesn't matter. So turn 2, now I use I charge haste on Dwayne, and haste already finishes before his turn comes because he's so slow.
Mhm.
So so I charge haste, and then Dwayne moves up and jumps, and he's in the air, and enemies' turns go by. When he comes down, like his turn comes up very fast. So that's how I kill gunners.
Yeah, so this is a good intro into the jump strategy here. So earlier when I mentioned the level 1 jump, that's because when you level abilities that have a charge time, that the speed at which it happens gets faster. It takes less game ticks in order for the action to finish or resolve. But if you leave jump at level 1, jump is one of those abilities you can actually just cast anywhere. You don't have to have a target. And when you're in the air, you can't be hit, you can't be targeted. Annoyingly, you also take up the space that you're standing on. People can't walk under you if you're jumping, which is hilarious. I had done slow arrow on a cane, so he only had 2 movement, and then Dwayne jumped next. He just couldn't go anywhere. He's just, like stuck. So you can use it. Yeah, it's sort of like this invulnerability window, and if you can miss 1 to 2 of their turns, I mean that third unit has to one shot Dwayne, or he's likely in their face with this like crazy high movement off of Dragon Standard. So it's a really interesting strategy, and I'm now on all of my Dragoons. I'm utilizing that because I play live PvP so much. Let's be honest, how often is it that you need your jump leveled where you can't use vertical jump or horizontal jump or dragon dive? It's like, I guess if the unit only has horizontal and regular jump and there's like a height difference, yes, you might need it, but there's also probably either better options to get there, or I'll take that one time in like dozens where that's relevant to have this invulnerability window, because it has been powerful. There was the end of a match too where I was facing an Agrius that had, barriers up. She was sentineling, stacking resists, and all I had was Dwayne left. She was at half health, and I was at full basically. And there were 12 turns left, and I think I ate up 9 of them just jumping. I basically I kept body blocking her from getting crystals and then jumping. And then I slowly got the crystals myself and just kept jumping. And the player didn't know about the strategy, so if you looked at the turn order, they just canceled their turn. I would land, they take another turn. But they kept moving and using like TP ability to get AP up. I'm like, all right, jump, move, buff, land, jump, move, buff, land, jump. And I did it like 4 times, and I won that match. It felt weird, but at the same time, it was my win condition. I couldn't really do a whole lot of damage to her more than she was gonna do to me, or risk getting like disabled or something. So yeah, it's a super interesting strategy, and I think that you can definitely get a lot of value out of doing it. Like Thancred right now, this is a whole nother topic, but I am going to have a max Thancred.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I already have one. So.
Well, I know that on previous podcasts, I think 2 weeks ago, I was talking about how like I wasn't going to do it, and I was going to skip it, even though it felt bad, blah, blah. And then my ticket luck turned around a little bit, and I did some math and saw that it was reasonable to actually get him. So I am currently just coasting, waiting for the ticket shards, and then I should, if any, I'll only have to buy 1 of those packs in the shop for him for the shards. So like he has 120. Yeah. I'm 52 shards away, I think. So yeah, I will have a max Thancred, and he will have a level 1 jump.
Minus a level 6 for some reason. I guess I must.
Oh no, that's probably like 1 more clock tick, right? Or 1 less. Well. Suboptimal. Start over. Yeah. So that's super relevant. Anyway, I guess if you remember where you were, continue.
Yeah, like we were kind of going to the discussion of why we chose our targets for belts, and the second reason why I chose that was because she has so many things she can do that it's just relevant all the time, right? So for example, when I'm fighting evade teams now, that dispel buff is very useful to take off that evade buff.
However, it is after damage though, right?
Yes. It is after damage, so if she misses, it doesn't. Like the buff still stays there.
Like unlike Halloween Little Leela, her Animal Pumpkin, if you see a percent chance and it's like 12, like the actual percent will be higher if they're illusion buffed or shadowcasted or Utsemi'd, whatever, because hers actually dispels first, and it won't calculate that when it shows you the like estimated whatever. But for Niv'Lu, it that percentage is your percentage to hit,
Yeah.
which was rough.
But
That was zero.
it's good for like because I have the Leslie something sword on Dwayne, which gives
Salia?
you Lasalia, yeah,
Yep,
Leslie,
same. Yeah,
Lasalia.
Leslie. Yeah, I use the same. Yep, accuracy
So
first.
he's not bad. Like his accuracy is pretty bad, but not terrible, not terrible bad. So not having a name, sorry, a dodge buff on these enemies, like removing that, gives him like maybe 50% chance to hit from the back, which is decent, right?
Yeah,
So I need her to do a lot of stuff, and I also need like actually I remember one game when I was fighting against an Agrius, and this Agrius also had the helm, so I couldn't even disable this Agrius. When I started hitting her with any of my skills on Niv'Lu, she would do like 700 damage. Like even with like barrier break or whatever, like 700 damage was the maximum I can get. So, but it took like after 3 turns of like breaking the barrier, removing her buffs, and I think I also did a sharpshooter chain. She did 3K, so it went from like 700 to 3K within like 3 turns because
good
she
lord.
like. But I would not be able to do that if I didn't have the AP,
Right,
right?
right.
I need the AP to break the barrier. I need the AP to remove Sentinel, right?
Yeah, dude,
Otherwise,
dispel
like,
spread hits like a truck too. Like if you catch two units standing next to each other, they're not expecting that. Like I've just killed people randomly with dispel spread, even when they're not buffed. Like it's so much damage.
and her LB is actually super powerful. I think it might, like, I think actually it might be better do more damage than Barrage, even though it's an skill because of the minus 35% defense.
Yeah. Do you have it? You don't have a max though, I assume.
I do.
Oh, you
I
do.
maxed it out.
Jeez,
Yeah,
how do you have so many LB pots? Good lord.
I bought it for 1K just to max that out.
Wait, what'd you buy for 1K?
On the in the shop there was, I think, yeah, there were some pots. You could buy like 200 of these LB pots for 1K Vizier. So I did.
Oh, does that just straight up max a? Oh, okay. Oh
Yeah.
man, you're making me want to do it. Yeah, because her LB is only 165%. But the
Yes. Yeah.
defense debuff kind of helps
So
with
that's
that
the thing,
because
right?
that's
Because
because
that
it's a
30.
break, not a penetration.
Yes, and that's basically increased. Like, if it's not adding a 35%, it's not like 65 to 200. It's actually
Right.
165% multiplied by 35 freaking percent, right?
Yeah.
That's way better than like a 200% attack modifier.
Oh, it's actually the same as Barrage. They have the same damage mod, but it has the defense
Okay.
debuff.
So okay, so what is Barrage's? Is it 165 as well?
Hmm.
Oh, it is. Oh, okay. So then that's
Yeah,
why
it's
she does
just
more
strictly better. Yeah.
damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and like without giving her bells, she will not be able to use this. So
Correct. Yeah, I've never seen that bar lit up as an option ever. It's because I'm always doing something and then buffing again or doing hastes or whatever.
yeah. So that's
That's so
so that's the
interesting.
reason why I ended up. So what was your reasoning for giving it to Federica? Like
All right, are
just
you ready?
barrage a lot of times. All right.
I'm a missile noob, and I felt
Okay.
like Niv'Lu has TP abilities, Frederica doesn't. It's pretty much what it was. I was like, I'm using Niv'Lu as like a support off DPS, so I'm doing like
Okay.
hastes and like typically it's turn one haste Dwayne, jump up on the wall next to Frederica. So if I can missile buff, I can, or if I want to missile buff, I can. Then Dwayne moves over, does his thing. Then turn two, it's typically either see if I can do damage or set up a chain for Frederica to kill something, or haste herself. Then the third turn, same deal. It's basically every turn it's check to see if I can do anything useful with my debuffs, or haste whoever doesn't have haste. And
Okay.
that's kind of been the workflow. But honestly, yeah, I mean, I could see. I don't have the accuracy built on her either, so I've kind of like dismissed her as even a viable option against evade. And I actually swapped my Alex ring from Frederica because originally I just wanted Frederica to be able to barrage evade units. Like I just
Okay.
wanted to wipe them
Yeah.
off the map if I was against them. But unfortunately, every evade team I face has also had the like sub missile resist theme, and it's
Mhm.
been really tough. So like even if Frederica can hit them, only Frederica can hit them, and she's not doing enough damage. So it was just a really bad combination. So I actually switched the Alex ring over. So Niv'Lu has like an okay chance now. But
Mhm.
yeah, I think after these conversations, I might try some different cards. I could max Flodai. Um, do you think Flodai is better than maybe having the Flag of Crystal Sanctum card on Niv'Lu?
So I like Flodai better because like the dexterity does other things too. Like it increases the
Mhm.
crit chance for everyone. And sometimes I'm missing like 200 damage or 100 damage
It's
from
a little
one
bit of
shotting
accuracy
somebody.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so so dex gives you accuracy, and also increases the damage for both of them, and increases crit chance. And to me, that's better than 6% accuracy all over the board and plus 10
Yeah.
accuracy for Niv'Lu.
It's
So
plus
that's why
20. It's 25 accuracy.
yeah. So 25 plus 6, right?
Yeah.
31.
I
Yeah.
thought say plus 10. Oh, you mean over flow die?
Over full
Got
die.
you.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
Mhm.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that's
So
why I picked that.
I wonder if I won't be able to do it though because I don't have any SR Esper resonance on the gunner girls or the missile girls.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
think hmm I might
I'm right at
have
540. So
oh yeah I might have Cactor, but
okay.
that'd be a little weird. Which I mean it's more man eater, less attack and less whatever, but it's still a similar realm. I can always see what that is. I may have might have to become my project for the next day or two. Is just run some good
Putting
idea on
resonance.
repeat or something, get some resonance. Yeah, because it definitely I have some problems to solve that it sounds like you have found solutions to. Because yeah, I'm losing to if I'm losing or having a tough time, it's against teams that are like Victora and Venera X,
Mhm.
like just something else supporting them. Yeah, other gunner teams though, I can usually outplay. I kind of rely on like just my knowledge and experience playing the game and playing around various things to win my matches. So I think the other main option to talk here, you started touching on it earlier, but we didn't get into detail, is Ranger's Lore versus Shikuchi
Oh,
on Frederica.
Shikuchi. Shikuchi.
Interesting.
I started with Ranger's Lore, but
Yeah.
I moved to Shikuchi because today actually, because after I made the video yesterday, I'm like, well, I don't really need her to advance. I'm okay with her being outside because again, I said I didn't really need her to do anything. She could just die
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
after the turn one. But I was like, actually having her as an as a second option to barrage and everything, and having her move around and being able to do it whatever she does, it's quite flexible. Like I've been actually getting some crystals with her now because like when I'm advancing, like I move Dwayne up like really far and jump,
Yeah.
and I sometimes move her to the nearby crystal because I'm like, okay, you can go and kill her if you want, but Dwayne will kill you.
Yeah.
That's your option, right? So like, and if she didn't have that Shikuchi passive, she can't do that. She's
Yeah,
stuck.
it's really tough to play with her on this map, honestly. Like, I was
Mhm.
against a gunner team that was, well, dual gunner, which was Lucia, Frederica, and I think they had like Kilfe or something. And they got very stuck at the beginning because they spawned behind the wall and not on the wall.
Mhm.
And I was able to just completely zone them out of getting, like, as soon as they walked up at all, it's just like, all right, cool, barrage, do this. And then Dwayne's up here jumping. And then you got one turn to figure out where you're moving with that Lucia because Dwayne's about to get her. Like, it was very, very rough for them. And
Mhm.
so I've actually been spawning Niv'Lu behind the wall, one space, Frederica
Mhm.
on the wall, one over, and then Dwayne in between the two trough, or like in the trough in front of Niv'Lu. So they're all within affinity range,
Mhm.
and I can get a haste on. Cause if I spawned on the wall, I'd have to move down to haste Dwayne. So I start
Mhm.
down so I can haste and move up.
Okay.
Um, and it's been okay, but I definitely like your experience or sound of it so far. The only thing that makes me nervous is the turn two not having haste already on Dwayne, but I guess maybe
Mhm.
that's not totally a big issue. Also, Dwayne not being able to horizontal turn one has come up so many times where if I could have done like if they move up with a cane or something onto the flat
Mhm.
surface, if you had enough to horizontal, you could just do it and maybe start the damage so you can just like turn to pop pop with the missile chicks to kill her or kill him, but alas, you can't. So it's just Dragon Standard get on the crystal. But yeah, so many interesting like niche things. Oh, well, what TMR are you using on Dwayne?
On Dwayne, oh, I have the what's it, Ayaka's TMR,
Same. Okay.
but I've never used it actually.
I've used it a couple
I've
times where I was just like, I have Dwayne back. He's not advancing because of whatever the situation was where I needed him to run interference once they got close to me.
Mhm.
And I did like purifying the two gunners or listen. I'm just gonna call Niv'Lu a gunner. It is so hard to break that habit.
Yeah,
Ah.
same. I've been calling her a gunner as well.
Anyway, you guys know what I mean. No, but yeah. So I've used it a couple times, but it's definitely not the most relevant. And I guess sometimes on the approach, I'm like, all right, I don't like jumping's not gonna actually do anything for some reason. Like I'm gonna land before anyone takes a turn. So I'm like, all right, I'll just purify
Use
or
this.
atonement or whatever. Yeah.
Actually, I've used it once to remove poison.
Okay,
So that's
that's
the only time I've used it. Yeah.
relevant too. Now, have you Dwayne LB'd anybody?
Uh, yeah, I think so, and I missed. But actually, no, it was just a friendly, so it wasn't CM.
Oh,
uh,
okay. So you didn't see the
yeah.
healing down then. Uh, I
No, I
still
didn't see
healed
this.
over 1,000 damage with it. It
Oh,
was
okay.
crazy. I don't know why, because I hit a Salir and a Orlando, so the estimated heal was very low because of the healing, but I ended up getting like 13 or 1,400 health. I was very surprised. Because everything else, like the crystals give you like 100 HP or something. It's completely just like a non-issue
Mhm.
or non-existent. So yeah, I was curious if you ever got surprised by that, where you hit like a unit or two with it and just like whoop, filled right back up, even though you're not really supposed to be. Because I definitely didn't do 11,000 damage or whatever the
Well,
10%.
so I thought that if it's like if the effect is on yourself, then it's 50%, right? Instead of 10%.
No, so it's
No?
because you are caster and target.
Okay.
But actually, I guess maybe lifesteal works differently. Because that's a life steal. You're not like targeting a heal. Like if you go,
Yeah.
I tested it with Wall, where if he does his
Okay.
like self buff,
Hmm.
I do 3.6k regular, and it was
Hmm.
360 in like
Okay.
the healing down because it's like it's a faith based ability. It's healing target,
Yeah.
healing recipient. So it kind of gets filtered twice, and then I guess they have a hard cap at 10%. You can't like go to 0% like healing
Hmm.
reduction, and it's not multiplied where it's like 50% and then multiplied by 50% to get 75%. It's actually
Hmm.
just 50 plus 50 with a hard cap at 90 is what it appears to be because it's always 10%.
Hmm.
Like two then like decimal. So
Like so,
um
I don't use drain force, but I've heard people that do use drain force. They said it's only down by 50%, not ninety
yeah, so I
percent.
I guess the oh, maybe that's the thing with the fact that it's a life steal, it's not healing because
Hmm.
it's just a singular source. That's interesting. Okay, so maybe that's why. I hadn't thought about that. Because yeah, if you do like a Kiraga, it's like nothing. So
Nothing.
yeah, not at all. And even if it's a heal on yourself. Interesting. Okay.
I
Um
actually really like these CM rules. Like I like the no healing. I like the
the
no
no healing
equipping
is so
because it.
annoying though. Like I almost wish it was just no like CT changes. Just people can't use quicken or
But
whatever, but you can still actually heal, so you don't get and I think that's part of the frustration with people and what they're experiencing against the Gunners is if their team is not specifically built with Gunners in mind, which it kind of has to be for this map. It's one of those things like when we get the wind attack up maps in guild battle, you have to account for the fact you're going to see more wind than normal. Like you're going to see more missile users than normal because of the way the map is built and designed. So I understand people's frustration, but you know, got to build around it. But yeah, the not healing makes it extra punishing. And yeah, anyway, so why do you I guess continue talking about why you like
so
it?
I like it because like for example Grace, right, like one of the problems with her is that you can chip her away at her HP, but it like you just have like stick a Halloween Leela behind her and she just heal her up, right?
Fair.
And it's just
Yeah.
really hard to take her down. So they have all these like bulky bruisery teams that are just, first of all, it's hard to do damage, and once you do it they just heal right back up. So at least this way, like I like a more offensive oriented playstyle. So that's why personally I like this rule set because it encourages that. And like before I was using gunners, I was planning to use like Victoria and Kane or something, right? And even then, like I was planning on like going right ahead and just like attacking them right away because um I didn't think they would use like a full lifer to get one of them back up or something because um like what else would they be doing? Like usually like Ayako or something, you want her to like heal, right? You want her to heal and haste and full life. If she's only there to like full life and maybe haste here and there,
Yeah.
she's not really that useful, you know?
I guess she's
So
there's like a
it's just
holy
like,
like insulation in case they're against a evade team, but yeah, for the most part that's the case.
yeah. So that's why I like this rule set because it just encourages you to play like more aggressively, and especially the placement of the crystals as well. Like I've played some matches where like they just camped, and I'm like, I think I won this game because I'm
Yeah.
getting all these crystals.
It's a
I
lot of
can just
AP,
walk up
dude.
to
It's
you.
like 50 or
Yeah.
something. It's so much. Like,
So
yeah, I saw somebody in the chat. They said you were like Pac-Man picking up the crystals like across the map. I did that one game where I'm like, all right, we'll pick up this one. They moved. I'm like, all right, we'll pick up this one. All right, we'll pick up this one. And Dwayne had just like a full AP bar. I'm like, the
Exactly.
possibilities are endless. Like, you're dead. And that also feeds into the whole jump thing. Like, it's one thing to use, say, a ninja, walk up, Utsusemi, and that's your source of like not taking damage this turn, or walk up and Sentinel. It's another to go walk up and jump, which uses AP, and you're not generating TP anymore. But the crystals allow you to do that on this map more
Exactly.
effectively than I think you could on other maps, which I think is maybe an important distinction to make when we're talking about the strategy, because it is 12 AP. It's not a ton, or is it 16? 12 or 16?
I think it's 16. 16.
All right, Thancred's right here. I'll look at him. They're all the same. Yeah, it's 16, so it's even worse. So normally that could actually affect you, but if you don't have like bells or something on, but the crystals help you do it. So yeah, map is very interesting. Now, do you have any general advice for those who are struggling against gunners beyond, obviously we just talked a whole cast about our experiences as gunners and what we want to not, what we don't like to see, what we think beats us, how we're shoring up against it. What I guess maybe that makes us selfish, right? We just talked a whole cast about our team comp. Let's talk about other ones a little bit. But anyway, do you have any general advice for people who want to build more against it without completely sacrificing like their team in general?
Well, the first thing that you should do if you're non-gunners and you're fighting gunners is to advance with everyone. Like I've played one game where I'm like, you should have won, but for some reason you only advanced with Agrius, and then as soon as you started taking that 700 damage, you moved back, and I'm like, why? If you kept running towards me, I like by the end of like the 3 turns when I took off all your debuffs, I started doing like 3k damage to you. But if you had like come at me, you would have killed one of my guys before I got to that point, right? So that's the first thing. I think if you're playing non-gunners, you have to be used to the idea that you have to advance, because if you give them time, like my Niv'Lu can haste everyone. She can cast target. Usually doesn't have enough room. Usually I only have time to give haste to one person. It's either herself or Dwayne, and by the time the battle already starts. So and Frederica, I'm not moving her up most of the time to get crystals. It's only those off times when I have the chance. So she has low AP. She can get off sharpshoots. But if you give me time, I will, give her all the buffs. She has like I think 2 chances of vigilance, 3 aim buff, and whatever her TP skill is. So she has enough time now to get enough AP to barrage you twice, sharpshoot you 3 times, whatever. So that's the first advice I would give you. If you're playing non-gunners, you have to advance somehow. You have to, like, maybe you can target your path which have crystals on it, so you can at least have some AP. You can maybe stack defense, because the gunner I see the most is still Frederica, and Frederica does not have any defense penetration. So if you have like 80 defense, she will do 20% damage.
Yeah, it's really rough. Very rough.
You don't need a high missile resist. You just need defense. So you can either build bulky, like you can build Sentinel and for example Cecil's barrier or something. But because it has Niv'Lu, you have to keep in mind, like and if Niv'Lu has Revitalize, it's going to be a bit tough match for you with that setup. So the other option is to go for a Dragoon team or a fast team. Like Tancred is actually a great option for that too, because he has move 4 with Dragon Standard. He can move up, and a lot of people have Tancred that they receive for free. I don't know if you guys built him because he's might be suboptimal,
yeah.
but he is an option, right? And then there's Victura, there is Laswell, there's Kane, especially with his TMR, and
not a Dragoon, but
and Venera. Yeah, I think Venera is probably the scariest of all of them, especially Venera with Dwayne, because if you build Venera to be, if you give her 2 evasion cards and 1 missile resist card, and have Dwayne go up and use Atonement right next to her, she will do crazy damage. It doesn't matter. She doesn't need any missile, any slash attack or attack VCs. She will get enough damage from just that from Dwayne's buff.
Because she has tune up, right? So she gets to do like the 40% defense penetration passively or something like that.
Yeah, well, I don't recommend that actually. I recommend with her to use the Thief Lore for 5 move.
Yep.
and use the evasion buff because of
Fair
evasion.
enough.
Because I find that I don't know. I mean, I haven't seen anybody with like 80% defense. So usually it's like something like 50, 55, and she cuts that by 35 already. So what is it, like 40% of 20 is 8, right? So instead of 8, you
Something
get
like that,
+1 move.
yeah.
So that's the reason why I would recommend Thief Lore instead of what is it, Tune Up.
So for me, I would have thought maybe Thief Lore and Tune Up and just like have your base
Oh,
evade be
okay.
sort of the just rely on like 60-70% occasionally missing. But yeah, I don't have Venera maxed, so I haven't really been able to play around with her, but I also don't have a weapon for her.
Okay.
So I would either have to max an SR knife or just not take a weapon and do some crazy weird build, which I actually heard somebody was doing Venera without a weapon and just still doing dumb damage. I don't know if I
Okay.
have that in me to to rely on that, but apparently it's relatively possible. So yeah, I wasn't sure. I'm looking at those the winter or the whatever the medals are called. What are they called? Like winter part 3 or whatever they are now.
Yeah. Mhm.
And 2021 medals where I'm like, I could finish Venera and Rob and a couple like maybe someone else too, but they're all like in that final stretch in LB 4 to 5. But I just don't think I could reasonably get her to a usable state in time. But definitely want to for the future. I actually, one of my guildies was testing with an anti-gunner team with Venera, and I told him, like, just try putting, like, Golem on her. Give her
Mhm.
the Defense and Maneater. Uh, take the, what was, I would have said Death Machine, but he didn't have it. And he had the weapon. He had, I think she was actually the Bells user on the team. And then give her Platinum Robe and just evade buff and walk up and just see if I can like beat you. Spoiler, I couldn't. The golem just like the really high. She had like 50 defense or something stupid. She had like 35 or like 40 missile resist, and she had the smoke screen to do defense up and evade up. I was like, how do I deal with this? It was really silly. I
Yeah.
couldn't do more than like 600 damage to her, and it was hard. So there are more uses for Venera than just straight up evasion, but it's probably better to do evasion.
Yeah,
Uh,
it depends. I mean, um, like I for me personally, if somebody built an era with a lot of missile resist, I think it'll be easier for me to deal with because I have Dwayne in that position to do something, and he has
if
a
he can
little
hit
bit of,
her,
if you can hit
like
her. But
yeah.
so that's the thing. So if you build her to be very high missile resist, you probably don't have her as extremely high evasion, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that was my problem. If she has like very high evasion, that's when I can hit you or do anything. So Dwayne is, so if she's built very high missile resist, Dwayne is kind of there to hopefully once in a while get a hit.
Did I ask
Um,
you what Esper you're using on Dwayne?
Odin.
Oh, you have Odin on Dwayne. Okay, so
Mhm.
he is. I have Death Machine on mine,
Okay.
so he's got like 60 defense or something. Very
Mhm.
beefy, and has like the plus whatever. You can't do the last missile node, which I think is 7, so he has like 18 missile resist or something.
Yeah, something like that.
And then the accuracy, the 7 accuracy, but obviously his agility suffers, and he's only got like 60, like high 60s or something, which is not great.
Yeah, I think mine is 79 agility.
What?
I think so. Is it?
Oh,
Or maybe it's 70 something for sure. What else do I have on him?
well, because it'd be plus 7 over me, but that's
Yeah,
not 79. You said you have Ayaka TMR. I also maybe mine's like 73 or 72. I'll have to
yeah,
double check.
possibly. Are you using the disable resist gear? Because that's -3 for me. Like, what's his
Oh,
armor?
I'm using platinum armor shield.
Oh, you are. Oh, okay. Platinum shield.
It's
Does that give you?
there's no agility down.
So maybe I'm remembering wrong. Maybe it's 79 with the affinities. That could be it,
Oh, maybe, yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Either way, yeah, maybe I'll actually try more of a setup similar to yours tonight when we get off of here. Yeah, all that gives is like -2 evade, but other than that, it's 20 defense, almost 700 HP and 4 spirit for the
Okay.
platinum armor. So yeah, there's no minus agility down. By the way, platinum armor, dude, I don't know how I survived so long without it. It is such a good piece of gear. Like, I got mine from the hitting Diamond Masters and it rolled shield. Maxed it.
Hmm.
It is one of my favorite pieces of armor now. It's so good. I love it.
What are the stats on? Is shield? You said. What are the stats on it?
It's 683 HP,
Okay.
20 defense, 4 spirit, and then -3 evade.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I prefer the disable resist.
I could see that. Mine's just not
Yeah.
built. Yeah.
Okay.
I need armor
Yeah.
books.
Yeah. I got it to +5, and then I have enough to build a second +0 one to level 50. And that's been good for me because I've run into a lot of situations where I'm like, oh, these like etc. would have disabled me in the situation, but they did not because
Right.
um,
Sweet.
yeah. I'm actually thinking of for the future, if I'm using Dwayne, to build his resonance up with Bloody Moon to also give him charm resist.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, Bloody Moon gives, it's a
25.
magic based, right?
Yeah, it's a magic base, but I mean, like he does enough damage. I don't need him to. I mean, okay, like I'm sure Odin actually significantly increases his damage, and so would any
For
other
sure, yeah.
physical damage Esper. But if he's charmed, he's not doing any damage, right? So if Kiza becomes like enough of an issue,
Well, he's doing like negative damage, right? He's killing you.
yeah, exactly. So, if charm becomes like such a huge issue, then I think I would go that path and just bring him with Bloody Moon.
It
So that
sucks
he
that
can.
you can't like become immune to charm though, even with that 25%. It's like, well, they still have their 48 or whatever, but at least it's not 97. Actually, wait, what faith is your Dwayne?
97.
Okay. Yeah.
So.
I think mine's actually still at 70. I haven't faith farmed him. I think my disables are like instead of 48, they're like 43 or something or 41. Like, whatever it ends up being. Bloody Moon, interesting. Oh yeah, because that also gives missile resist, which is nice.
Yeah.
Some accuracy. Yeah, I can see that. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
And it
I was
gives 13 agility isn't awful compared to other options.
right. Yeah, I was thinking like if I was gonna do that, I would probably go with the dark resist because I think it gives 15% dark, and I
Yeah,
see a lot
that's
of
fair.
Canes and Dwaynes, so that's probably what I do.
Yeah, let me just double check that. I saw the dark resist. I thought it was dark attack. Yeah, it is dark resist, so it's 3, 6, 10, 15%. Yeah, very good.
Yeah,
Sweet.
like there's a lot of Veneras, Canes, other Dwaynes, so I think that'll be pretty good.
Nice. So, any other general advice for CM4? Either for or against gunners or just in general?
I do a lot of practice battles because when the practice battles have those crystals, so figure out your positions. And thankfully the position saved this time. So
And
when
just
you
don't use heals like mid game.
don't use heals, don't use quicken, don't use steal time
By the
because
way,
yeah
steal time. I have seen people do this to me, and I've told my guildies who are using steal time people to do this. You can steal time your own unit, and because there's no CT changes, their CT will not go down, but you will get the 20% agility buff. So
yeah
that's actually a little niche thing you can do to get a little bit of AP and also potentially take turns quicker as like a little mini haste. And if you put haste on a unit and then do steal time on somebody, they just cruise. So it's a cool little trick to know. That while it's not like you can't use quicken, it just doesn't do anything. So you can use steal time. It just the CT won't change.
yeah. So yeah, just practice. Like I've been practicing, like just in case at some point Missile breaks down. I've been working on another team with Venera, Dwayne, and Niv'Lu. Just to and that team's been working pretty well too. Like the only thing is like because a lot of people are running accuracy cards and accuracy stuff, Venera still gets hit often. So
Yeah.
I have to decide if I'm going to run like a full evade build, and I don't want to right now, but I might have to if I'm going to run that.
Yeah.
But right now I'm enjoying it. But I think the best thing to do actually is just to do a lot of practice, because if you want to do well in CM, I mean, practice makes you better, right?
It does. Yeah, come
And
and join the PvP Discord in the
of
link
course,
below,
yeah,
and you can come. I mean, I've actually seen I think more people doing friendly practice matches for this CM than like ever before. Like there's so much to practice between, like you were saying, crystals, positioning, people who want to beat gunners, people who want to play gunners and practice gunners. There's been so much activity in like the matchmaking channel. So
and I think
definitely give
yeah.
that a think if you are, or give it consideration if you want that.
and I think one of the other reasons why I really like the CM is because there's just so many different things you can run that are viable, right? Like the first day I was playing the 5 matches, I like all the 5 comps were totally different. I faced my own comp, which is Dwayne, Federica, Niv'Lu, only once out of
I
15
faced it
matches.
once as well, actually.
Yeah. I've yeah, even like double gunners. I think the third position has always been different, right? Like 2 matches yesterday was Federica Lucia, but the third position I think one time was Dwayne, one time was um what's it Kilfei. So it's just a huge variety, and then those rush teams with like Venera based, Venera based rush teams, Victoria based rush team. It's been fun. I really like it. So
Yeah, it's definitely not as like doomsday feeling as I was expecting. Even I had pretty negative thoughts coming into the CM. I was very stressed, even though I had the Niv'Lu and I had the Frederica, and I was gonna be that guy. I was still concerned just for the community's reaction to it once they had to deal with it, because I know regardless of whether or not people should expect to do well without practice, people get very discouraged if they don't do well, especially in their first, like, say 5 matches. Like, oh, fuck this map, I don't like this, and it's stupid, I face gunners every game. It hasn't been that. It's been really nice and surprising.
it seems like at lower tiers, I think there are a lot more gunners than our tier. But because like I posted some stuff on Reddit, and a lot of people are like, oh, all I face is like gunners, and I'm like, well, maybe in the lower tiers because that's easier.
Yeah,
maybe that's what people are
especially
doing.
like gunners and evade are two relatively easy auto teams too. Like if you're still in the levels where people are autoing, you're gonna see that a little more just because it's just easy, and you can just cheese people out if they're not prepared for it. So I can see that being a problem. It's tough though, because like you want everybody to have like that, like the opinion based, but that good experience. But at the same time, it's kind of the top end that you have to balance for. And so once people get there, the game, that's when like the good interactions happen and the variety happens. So yeah, it's a little weird to evaluate that way,
but I mean, like if all you say is the gunners at a low end, if you build a Victura for like 80% missile resist, you probably do very well, right?
But I don't have Victra.
Well, hopefully you have somebody, Yerma or someone, right?
I don't have Yerma. I don't have Venera. I don't have Kilfei. I don't have Rain. Rain's slow, so like it's kind of hard. But jamming thrust is nice on this map with all the height differences, which is another piece of advice, by the way. Just take some time and familiarize yourself with your ability ranges and heights and stuff, because like having those extra couple of seconds because you already know that your ability is going to be able to hit is nice for like thinking and planning. Rain, man, it's an interesting one because he has really high missile resist, and you can stack it even higher, and he's tanky, and you can't heal on this map like you normally could against gunners, but the agility is the main issue. But jamming thrust would pop people if he could find his place. Like, I remember you and I, again, used the same team for a while. It was that Miranda, Victor, Rain, and that team was a blast. Just being able to blow people up with jamming thrust or have the Dragoon or whatever. And if you give him haste, it's actually not awful. So I wonder if there's anybody finding success with Rain.
I haven't
What would be your
seen
opinion
it
on
yet. Yeah, I think it could work. I totally forgot about him actually as a missile resist option, but I think you can build his defense up, and because he does magic damage, and most people are building missile resist or pierce resist, I think he has a place right now to do a lot of damage. It can easily one shot Lucia for sure because I've done that many times before.
Yeah.
And then with like a platinum robe, he has pretty good defense. If you give him something like you can give him like Shiva or something too, and he's pretty like it gives him an extra 18 agility, so it kind of starts bringing him up there. Like if you run like, for example, Rain, Victora, and Venera, and run like an agility card, that's probably a pretty good anti-missile team, anti-gunner team.
Yeah, there's a lot of options out there.
You need, yeah.
Also, I'm not going to advise Whisper, but yeah, like we said, Thancred. Who else are like some big missile resist people that we haven't said yet? Just to like think about general units that I don't have this. Think about this. Don't use Glaciella. She does not resist it, and she's water. She's very negative. It's bad. You better be able to get close quick or something. I don't know. Like I can't imagine playing Glaciella on this map. I'd be terrified every match. I'm just like, She just get blown up. Engelbert is a weird one because like you can make him take like no damage from anything. It's just he'll get lapped and chained out. Well, unless he's hasted, I guess maybe he does something. I think that's the majority of the units, right?
Yeah, and well, Igris will always work as well. She's a bit slower, but and she needs her shields and everything up, but you know she still works.
Halloween Ryu is one that he doesn't have really high missile resist, but he is Earth. He is pretty beefy. He has Sentinel, and he has 5% missile resist, so it's an amount. That could be an interesting one as well, especially if you're running into, say, other teams that have like Kilfei. He's got 15% magic resist natively. His -5 slash is not attractive, but he does a lot of damage, and he has a Warm Spirit. So there's a lot of tools he could have to give to a team. I think. Have you seen the Mono Earth team running around yet? Where it's like Ryu, Kilfei, and then either Kitone or who's the other Earth unit people are using? Kitone was one, and I guess Mustadio, but no, Kitone's the other one.
Okay, so I've run in 3 times. I've run into Kilfei plus Halloween Ryu, but it's always been those two, and the third one was like somebody else random. One time it was Halloween Leela, and I don't know why she was on that team. Well, I do know why, because they were trying to give Protect, but you know, like for example, if you use Protect and Sentinel, not Sentinel, what other buffs do they have? But
so for what unit?
For Kilfei. So Kilfei had her own shield.
Yeah,
I forget
shield
what it's called.
And
then and then you give her Protect. But the thing is, like, if I'm removing the shield, both of them are gonna go at once, right? So I don't know if Protect is as useful as it was before. I would assume both of them would go at once.
Protect doesn't get taken off by barrier break, does it?
But
it's not a barrier.
Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
I don't think it is, because all it is it reduces it. Wait. All right, sorry. We were just came back from a cut, and real life stuff happened. We had to take a break real quick. But during that break, I was able to test. I took Halloween Leela, Kilfei, and Niv'Lu, just to see if Halloween Leela's Protect was special. Just kidding. She was a white mage, so I did Protect on Kilfei, and I put Shield of Staves on Kilfei, and then I hit with Barrier Break, and the Protect did stay.
Oh, it did. Okay, so I guess
they're categorized differently. I think Shell and Protect have like a specific definition of being like they have their own section, right? But all the other ones are like physical shield 3 times or physical magic shield 3 times or 3 turns or whatever. I think those are categorized differently because there are some skills that are like dispels that remove Protect and Shell, even though those aren't debuffs or even though those aren't buffs. But it's kind of like where Halloween Leela's LB removes haste in addition to buffs. So haste is a status condition, barriers are status conditions. Weird term for it, but that's what the game considers them. So they're defined differently. So that's why there's like 3 layers, right? There's like Protect, there's barriers, and then there's like defenses and resistance stuff. Are the 3 ways you can attack a unit or buff a unit to take less damage, or bolster a unit, because buff is a specifically defined word. So yeah, Protect will not be taken off by the Dispel arrow. It won't be taken off by the Barrier Break arrow. Protect is just hard to get rid of.
Yeah, but yeah, I just felt like she was only there to protect and shell. That's all she did.
Right.
So I'm like, is that really worth it as a third unit? I don't know.
I had an opponent I don't know if they just weren't thinking or they didn't know, but they did zombie transformation, walk up, and I went magic infusion. Shrug.
Yeah.
It's just like like that doesn't work on this map, or at least not in this matchup. And that Leela was sad. She then got barraged along with her 1 HP cane.
Yeah, so it's but thankfully I've not run into a Kitone yet. I think that might be difficult for me, especially if it's like an evade Kitone. Having 2 lightning units, Earth is tough, and I've seen that 3 times already out of 15 matches. Out of the first 10, I had them 3 times already. And I've seen a lot of Kilfeis as well, with like in a lot of different lineups, which makes sense because a lot of people are building missile. Your dodge units will probably have some missile resist. So Holy is one way to get through that.
Right.
right? So
Yeah,
Kilfei makes sense.
Yeah, and she has innate missile. It's like 15% or something, so it's no slouch there, and she's just naturally good against lightning and physical damage in general.
Hmm.
That's why like my Kilfei always wears a smart coat because like I need to have the anti like magic side of it too because
Hmm.
her barrier and stuff handles the rest of it and protect and shell whatever else. Yeah, I actually thought about trying Niv'Lu Frederica Catone. Uh,
Okay.
and I was gonna use Drain Force, even though the map's really bad for Drain Force, like with the the height differences, trying to line things up. But she still has the stop, which is powerful. She
Hmm.
can still be evasive. She can still do other things that are annoying, and like you have to hit her. But if it's against a gunner team, you might not be able to hit her. And if you use like even if you're on Plat Robe Vital or something to make your Drain Force hit hard, you can still Utsu Semi a couple times and make your way up the board. But I think I ended up on Dwayne just because it's less reliant on that RNG factor of not getting hit. So,
Hmm.
and his damage is more reliable than Drain Force. But I think it'd be interesting to have her as sort of that disruptive unit on the team. But yeah, something you mentioned earlier too is using Niv'Lu as more of a support with like Kane and Victor or Kane and Dwayne
Hmm.
or Venera and Dwayne, just like two more in your face units, and then she's just annoying, taking off barriers or
And hasting everyone.
hasting. Yeah,
Hmm.
it sounds very interesting to have her. I've compared her a lot to Gilgamesh in that way, where she can
Hmm.
be that supportive time mage and then just convert later into doing annoying debuffs and damage. So yeah, there's a lot of variety, and it's interesting. And like I said, always frustrating because you can't like build quote unquote the perfect team. But then it also gets very stale seeing Kilfei Agrius and Halloween Leela every match. So
Yeah. So it was like I think one thing people should kind of remember is that like you're not going to build a team that is good against everything. You might build a team that's good against a lot of things. Like they might excel against a lot of some things, be good at some things, and then be bad at some things.
yeah,
Like in my previous match, and even still, like evade is not my strong suit. I've kind of built something that can kind of play against it, but it's still not like maybe I
it's
would
not
win like
favorable.
50% of the time. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm weak to charm. Like if and Joanne can very easily get charmed, and I would be dead, right? Because he'll probably run back and one shot my other units.
yeah. That move
So
5 goes both ways.
exactly.
It's like no, I'm trying to run away.
Um, so like I think if you lose, and especially if you have like a 5 lose streak against something, like if you happen to have like 5 matches against an evade team and you just can't handle evade, it just happens sometimes. Don't be too discouraged. Like your team is good against some things and it's not good against some things, and it's just luck of the draw. Like sometimes the rankings are a bit skewed in that way because you might just happen to play a lot against something that you're just good against. Like in CM1, I ran an all water team. Out of 40 matches, I only had 3 Frederikas that I was against. It's just luck
But
of the
other
draw,
people, it's
right?
like Frederica like 3 times a day,
Exactly.
and
So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's one of those things you want to be like I'm that guy who has the like 20 win streak, but not everybody can do that. Like someone has to lose, like
yes.
along the way, and even if you're going 3-2 every day, that sounds bad. Like on paper, like 3-2, it's like those are really close numbers, but it's actually a 60% win rate, which is
Hmm.
still not bad in a highly competitive environment. If you're going 4-1 every day, you're an 80% win rate. That's pretty insane. And especially if you go like 1 loss, 4 wins, 4 wins, 1 loss or something, like you're climbing pretty quick with those streaks. So yeah, it's a tough pill to swallow, like as a competitive player or someone who wants to do very well at least, or as best as you can. But you have to realize that it's the game is to a point now where people have optimized vision cards. They have had multiple chances to farm each piece of gear. They can win the matches they want to win, right? Like they can build, and if you happen to be the thing they built for, like that happens. Like you can try to
Hmm.
adjust your play, but like against that Kilfei, Venera, and Victra team, I took so many stupid gambles because I was like, oh, I'm doing 300 damage. Let's try to do a status effect because that's all I can do here. Like,
Yeah.
you have to just accept that you have some bad matchups.
Yeah.
And maybe it's easier for me because I like played TCGs, which that's like the whole name of the game is win the matchup lottery or uh hope your sideboard's good enough. But you don't have that here. You get one chance, so
Yeah.
you have to accept that you have bad matchups. You just try to build a team with the minimal amount of bad matchups according to the meta you expect. So
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, like so we were both just talking about our third piece and we picked Dwayne, but
mhm.
if if charm is something that you just hate, you can put Agrius instead, right?
Yep.
But then if you put that, like, like Dwayne has like so much reach, he has that jump. Agrius doesn't. So which, like, what are you gonna do? You can pick one of the two,
Right.
and whichever you pick, you have strengths and weaknesses. So you just have to accept what it is, right?
Hmm.
So
Exactly. Any other wrap up thoughts?
I think that's it for me. I think.
All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I hope you found this useful. I know we went on a lot about our own personal stuff, but I think that there's a lot of wisdom hidden in there to kind of
I
take
hope so.
from that. So, yeah, I feel like this is more of like Locke's masterclass on playing Niv'Lu and Frederica, and I'm just here like, I put bells on my Frederica and Barrage. So, thank you, everybody, for listening. We will see you next time. I have been Zach Burrow,
And I'm Luck.
and I already said we'll see you next time.